All right, check this out. Today we've got this, a Suzuki Jimny, the brand new one here at EvoClub Car Wash. So this is the modern Suzuki Jimny, but it's still very old school in its construction. Check it out, right? Down here, it's still, the chassis is still leather frame with the dual live axle arrangement. You see at the front here, the 1.3 liter engine mounted longitudinally to drive all four wheels. So stylistically from the outside, this Jimny is still very boxy looking, very old school looking, right? You can see that from the styling cues, it's a modern reinterpretation of a traditional concept. Now, in the market, there are plenty of conversion kits that help you transform your Jimny to a mini Defender or a G-Wagon. I've seen some of them before, pretty neat, but the car looks good enough as it is right now, okay? So this car, of course, the owner has done some enhancements to it. Check out the roof rack. Look at the roof rack, okay? But this is my favorite part, okay? You've got this, this leather here, which I am told can support the weight of a person, but it's there more for show than anything else. And of course, if you remember, those of you growing up back in the 80s and 90s, the four-wheel drives of that era, they have the spare tire mounted here at the tailgate, which opens like a door. Check this out. So inside here, now what I really like about the Jimny here is that here on this floor here, you've got this grating pattern. It's plastic, it's got a grating pattern, so it gives the real area a very hardy feel. And these are, of course, as you can see, they are foldable seats. So we check out the cabin. Look at this, side step. This is aftermarket accessories here made especially for the Jimny. The door card, top to bottom, hard plastic, hard plastic, hard plastic. So this is, of course, deliberate, not for the purpose of being cheap, but for hardiness. I also need to go inside? Yeah. Okay, for the purpose of hardiness. Why? Because Suzuki's original concept for the original Jimny was for these to be taken off-road to be abused. So you don't want too much fancy materials. All these hard plastics is that even, let's say, all this kena mud and all that, but you can just hose it down straight away. So inside the cabin, you can see fabric seats. Rest of the cabin is all hard-grade plastics. Just that you've got some texturing here, different level of texture here. Okay? And down here, you can see you've got this slot here for push start button for higher spec cars or engine key start. Okay, here's the row of switches. And what I like about this part of the cabin, okay, power window switch is with a rocker switch design. So here also the hill descent control, traction control off, USB port, 12-volt socket, and there's a little tray here for you to drop your mobile phones inside. Now check this out, old school 4-speed automatic with overdrive button, as well as switchable 4-wheel drive system, 2H, 4H, 4L. And look at this. This is an accessory that the owner purchased. And look at this. So it gives the center console extra storage space. Now, Suzuki has always been not very good when it comes to free up space for center storage. We see this in the Swift, we see all this in the other cars, but you see there are accessory makers here that came up with, okay, look, they come up with ingenious solutions like this where they put these trays here. They also put these straps here as well to give extra pockets. So these are all aftermarket accessories that the owner purchased and installed in this car, and they are made especially for the Jimny. So you can see with the amount of accessories that this owner has installed, right, what this tells me is that the Jimny has such a cult following that there are plenty of suppliers out there ready to invest, right, to create accessories made specially for the Jimny because there is enough of a cult following, there is enough of a demand for them. Okay, so look at the overall design of the cabin. So, I mean, these are quite modern in terms of the when design, but the layout, very, very old school. And you can see here, that grab handle will be a familiar sight for many of the traditional Jimny owners. Okay, that's all from the old Jimny. And this one here, this phone holder is another accessory that was developed for the Jimny where they can lock it into this slot. So Suzuki obviously designed this cabin with a high level of personalization in mind from the part of the owner. This touchscreen here has Apple Auto and Android CarPlay, as I am told. So yeah, this cabin, very old school in terms of its design, takes us back to a totally different era, and of course it evokes nostalgia. The sight and the ambience of it evokes nostalgia of a different era. Thanks for the opportunity to take your car out for a spin.
Hey, no problem.
So Andrew, can you share with... Hey, wait, I need to adjust the camera angle. Okay, all right. Do you mind introducing yourself to the audience?
Yeah, so I'm Andrew in advertising.
In advertising,
Yeah,
okay.
and on leave today.
On leave today, nice, nice. Okay, so what led you to buy this car?
So I had a Mark 7.5 Golf R, and I used that for about 4 years.
Yeah.
But as good as that car is for Genting and all that, 90% of the time you're just driving it on regular roads.
Yeah.
And it's hard to say, but it's a slightly boring car on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it does everything fine.
Yeah.
Just less comfortably so. You know. So it gets annoying driving slowly with that car. Let's put it that way.
So you traded in a Mark 7.5 Golf R for a Suzuki Jimny.
Yeah, I managed to get a good buyer.
Wow!
And I just wanted something more interesting, right? And
Whenever
I saw Jimnys driving around, I'd always look at it, you know?
Yeah.
Try to find an excuse to park near it and all that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've driven the previous Jimny before.
Yeah.
All right, and this is so much more refined, eh?
The rounded one, right?
The second generation one, lah.
Oh, the second generation, right?
It is so much more refined, eh?
It's not bad. It's not bad when you're driving in town.
Yeah. I mean, of course, I think on the highway you'll be one of the slowest cars on the highway. But like right now, as you're driving along the imperfect roads of Chan Sao Lin, you still have that old school feel where the suspension is like, you just feel the suspension on top of everything.
Yep, and you can hear the gear whine.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely not a modern car.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so there's still a bit of bobbing.
a lot of bobbing.
Yeah, right. But because I have experienced the older Jimny as context, this is comfortable by comparison.
Yeah.
Of course, if you come from your Golf R is more comfortable lah. Your former Golf R is more comfortable.
Yeah, it is, but it's not as bad as some of the people who review this car. You know, some of the reviews are very, it's very harsher than it needs to be.
Yeah. Okay, like this is not a car you want to throw into corners.
No.
But you can throw this into potholes.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. And yeah, I can see the charm in this. So, what adventures have you had with this car so far?
Apart from driving in KL, apart from driving in crazy roads in KL, I'm just pretty much just taking it on the highway. I haven't got a chance to take it off road yet. But I think if you find a good trail, I'd want to do that.
Where's the furthest you have went with the car?
Penang and back.
Oh, Penang.
Yeah.
How was the experience? How was it on the highway?
It's you're not gonna fall asleep on the highway. That's for sure.
Why?
Because you're slower than everything.
Okay.
And if anything bigger than a motorcycle passes you, the car will move. Yeah. So when buses and trucks overtake you, you gotta be ready to correct the steering because you will move. Yeah. You know, changes in air pressure will move this car. Yeah. Because it's very boxy and it's very susceptible. It catches the wind. Yeah. And this is the standard suspension. So it's very soft. So if you were to emergency brake, the car does crash forward a little bit. Right. You know, it just dip forward, and if it's a wet road, it activates the anti-lock. Very, very easily. I think it's because the tires are not stock. These are. I saw you use all-terrain tires. Yeah, it's all-terrain tires, so it does trigger the ABS quite easily, especially in if you're going on wet cement. Yeah. For example. Yeah.
think a number of years ago, I had a chance to follow the. Have you mingled with the Jimny Club before?
No, not yet.
A number of years ago, I had a chance to follow the Jimny Club on one of their off-road trails, right? Of the off-road camps. Right? It's quite an experience. Like, these guys they really go crazy in their Jimnys. And you know, the best part is, right, the people that I met, some of them, they are from all sorts of background. You know, some of them are manager levels. Yep. Some of them are I think one of them sells chicken rice. Then you got a Dato, you got a Tan Sri in there. So it's basically people from all walks of life. Yep. Right? They just gather there and have a good time. Yep. Right? I know of one particular guy, right, who spent 200 grand to mod his Jimny. Right?
I can see that.
All right. So I don't know how far along that road you're on.
No, I probably won't do something crazy. If I do something, I think it would be suspension. I think that's probably a worthwhile mod, because I think, you know, you use it every day. Yeah. And, you know, slightly better suspension.
But what really blows my mind is seeing. I can sense from you, right? Yeah. You have so much more enthusiasm for this car than your Golf R.
Yeah.
So much more enthusiasm.
I think the Golf R is a good car. It's just that and it was a sort of ambition to get that car. But like I said, 90% of the time, you just feel, and you know, it just feels annoying when you're going slowly in traffic. And, you know that this is not how that car is supposed to be driven.
Yeah. But is this your only car?
Well, that's just the main number one car. So it is a compromise, you know. I think if you're going to use this every day, it is a compromise. But it's not as bad as, you know, some of the reviews online would.
No, it's not. It's not. I think the refinement of this car definitely is much better than the first two generations of the Jimny. Of course, it's still like what you said. It is a compromise, but it's not as severe a compromise as that of the older Jimnys.
No, it's slightly nostalgic also. If you're old enough to have, you know, experienced the car from the 90s, or maybe you have an older car, it's sort of that vibe, right? It's a nostalgic vibe that you don't see in a regular car these days.
There's a very analog feel to the car.
Yeah, and if your next car is going to be an EV or something, you know, this is different enough to make it interesting.
Yes. It's not fast, but
no, because now EVs is like, even standard EVs are so quick.
Oh yes, it's crazy.
There's no point playing that speed game anymore.
Yeah. It's this car, I think, has what it has in spades is its charm.
Yeah, it's charming and it's good to look at. And people look at it. Kids look at it. Yeah, because it's what you draw as a kid, right? That boxy shape.
I think you probably turn more hits than a Porsche or a Ferrari. I'm sure you turn more hits than a Porsche.
Yeah, right. But I think a little bit is because it's not exactly a cheap car. I mean, it's supposed to be a cheap car. It's just that in Malaysia, it's not. It's not a cheap car anymore. So I guess people understand if you're buying a Porsche, the price you pay is offset because it's a Porsche. Yeah. Right. But it is compromised in a similar way, I guess. You know, if you were to use it every day.
But from what I know, right now, even in the used car market, even the old Jimnys don't come cheap anymore.
Yeah.
They don't come cheap anymore.
It doesn't. I think it's a supply issue as well.
Right? Yeah. I think a lot of them are, you know, have been very bastardized. Yep. You know, I've actually seen one with a Toyota 1JZ transplant.
Yeah. It's make it look like a Land Cruiser or a Land Rover even. Yeah, it's similar. Like if you were buying a Golf, for example, it's very hard to find a stock one unless you get a Recon model or something. Yeah. But it's not bad, right?
It is.
It's fine driving at this speed.
In
fact, it's pretty good from 30 to about 70, 80. It's really usable.
And I think they dialed in just enough refinement for this car to be usable.
Yeah, and this is a Malaysian spec, so it has CarPlay, so that's all you really need actually. Like, you know, as long as you have the CarPlay.
Yeah, this is the same head unit as I saw in the Swift Sport.
Right. Yeah.
Which is fine. Which is
a good car actually. Yeah. That's also another nice car.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's the same unit. You just have to plug it in.
Wow, lovely, lovely. So, are you what do you see yourself moving on to next, or is this car going to be a keeper forever?
I'll try to keep this car. I think it feels like, if you need a runabout and if you got to park somewhere, if you go through slightly flooded roads, you don't mind with this car.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Plus, it's interesting, right?
Yeah.
I think for me, the car has to be interesting in some way.
Oh yes.
If you're getting a high-tech EV car, it's interesting because it's fast and it's quiet the rest of the time, right? And this it may not be the most quiet car, but at least it's nice to look at. When you park it and you see it there, it looks good.
So, or rather, the question. Let me reframe this. What would you buy next as a companion to this car?
All right. Yeah. So we've been looking at an EV, and the question would be which EV, right? I test drove the C40. That's an excellent car.
Oh, right.
I think we want to test drive the Seal because I think that looks really good.
Yes. You. I think for right now the EV proposition is that I think you in our market you really can't go EV shopping without first checking out what BYD has to offer and see and stack it up against the rest.
Yeah, I'm not too much of a Tesla person. I find I have a suspicion that the Tesla will be great. Yeah, but it'll be boring in the same way as the R, right? Because it's simple, right? Yeah. It's simple to look at. Yeah. And to me, on a day-to-day basis, it's just not something that might be interesting. I'm sure it's a great car all around. It's a great car. Wow. Yeah. But if you're going to get an EV, the speed is not such a thing anymore. So that the Golf Rs and everything suddenly become. It doesn't make the greatest noise, the Golf R, right? Yeah. And if you don't make a great noise as a petrol car, then I don't know. It's hard to argue why that's a great buy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because it's really safe handling. All-wheel drive, and it's super capable. Yeah. But an EV car would. I think quicker on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and I think what I like about driving EVs now, I don't know about you, but I don't fully buy all the environmental claims, but I recognize EVs as fantastic day-to-day cars, right? Because I notice that every time when I drive an EV, I feel a lot less stress because the way an EV accelerates is very effortless. Very effortless. It's like, okay, when you're ready, you just step on it, pop, it goes. Yeah. Right? In stop-go traffic, right, EVs are fantastic. Yeah. Right?
Exactly.
A lot less tiring also because less vibrations that coming through the.
And it's just quiet. I think you can see a lot of petrol cars, whether you're buying a Camry or whatever, right? Everyone's trying to cut noise out.
Yes.
Right? And overcome the noise of the combustion engine.
Yes.
And EV just does that naturally, right?
Yeah.
So 90% of the time that you're driving, I'm sure an EV would be great. And if you want to punch through that hole in traffic, you have all that power.
I mean, like now when I send my kid to school, I'm like thinking every time when I send my kid to something, EV would be perfect for this kind of use because school run, right? Firstly, traffic jam, right? And you are slow moving traffic anyway. So why do you want to waste fuel for that?
Exactly. And if you have an apartment or a house where you can charge it every couple of days, then it makes sense. The range is enough. Unless you're going long distance all the time. Yeah. Right? The range is enough to charge it every couple of days, maybe. That's all you need.
Yeah, man.
But I think this is good to drive every day. I don't have a problem driving this every day. I don't miss anything. It's just that sometimes when you want to punch through that hole in traffic, or you want to. Say you're coming out of an intersection and you need to get up to speed. Yeah. You want to overtake a car. You're trying to overtake a car and it's a slight incline. Yeah. This gearbox doesn't always want to shift down. Yes. Sometimes I think it's already in second gear. I think this is a 3-speed with a 4-speed overdrive. Yeah. So correct. You don't have a lot to play with. And that's the only time I miss something with a little bit more power.
Yeah. But I mean, in place of power, you get charm in spades.
Yeah, you just have to plan ahead. You know what I mean? I suppose it makes, like I said, it makes you more alert. Like you have to plan ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, can I overtake this car before this other car comes by? You know?
Yeah. This is something that I'm now very, very acutely aware because, I just don't have the what you call it. I just don't feel. It's like I really have to look at the side mirror.
Yep.
You know, it's like their car there really have to be ready to let you through before you can even consider going in.
Oh, yeah, and on the highway you just have to see. You know, like I played this game where, okay, there's a truck. Okay, do I think I can overtake that truck? Depends how fast the truck is going. If the truck is going anywhere below 100 to 90, then maybe you can overtake it. If someone is going at 110, there's no way this is going to overtake that. You know, so there's no point trying. It's just unsafe.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It does the Penang Drive fine. You know?
Yeah.
The fuel tank is a little bit small, so you have to refuel on the way anyway.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's been a good car.
How's the consumption like? I'm sure it's not great, right? The consumption.
It's better than what I had with the Golf, right? So there's 12 kilometers to the liter or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually not bad. It's not bad. Before the Golf, a few years ago, I had a Fiesta, you know, with the dual clutch, and that was really bad consumption because you will rev to 5,000-6,000 before shifting gears. But this one, it's an old school automatic.
Yeah.
It may not be the best fuel economy, but it's okay. It's just that the tank is small, so you have to refuel. You have to refuel more often. But I can just put in 95. Don't have to worry about putting in anything better than that.
Yeah. It's a very basic engine anyways.
Yeah.
Right, which is the way Suzuki intended it to be.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder why they don't put or attempt to put the 1.4 turbo into this.
Yeah.
The one that they have in the Swift. But I suppose if they do that, then they have to change the gearbox, they have to change the suspension, they have to change everything.
Yes. And I believe too much speed dilutes the charm of this car.
Yeah. I have seen some of those mods that people do in the UK where they put 200 horsepower in it. But then I don't know why you would want to do it in this car.
This car does not have the dynamics to handle 200 horsepower.
No, it was a rainy day. It was a low speed corner.
Yeah.
And I accelerated with just a little bit without thinking too much. And the thing spun. The tail kicked out, and then you had to correct it, and the ESC came out. So you gotta just be mindful in this. It's a really small car.
And it's a tall car.
Yeah, it's tall, it's small, car. And it leans, right? Yeah. So the back is gonna... And it's rear-wheel drive. So right now you're driving rear-wheel, not front.
Yeah.
So you just gotta remember that.
Yeah, you have to be very careful because the thing is that when you see that when a car this tall, it spins, right? There is a high risk of toppling one compared to if you drift, if you kick out the tail of a low slung sedan or a sports car, it's different.
Yeah. And it was surprising how quick the thing started to slide.
Yeah.
Because it's so small, I guess it just rotates slower. It rotates quicker. Right? But anyway, it's part of its charm, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I had an HRV before, the one over there.
Okay.
White, and that was fine, but again, it's just it becomes just an appliance. It's a very no problems, super reliable, nice to look at too. But it's just boring after a while.
Yeah. The HRV is a car that it gets the job done. That's it.
Yeah.
It's one of those cars that gets the job done. That's it. You want something that don't give you a headache? HRV is the one that you.
Yeah, the new ones are not bad.
Yeah.
The new ones look good.
Okay, hey, thank you so much for your time and the opportunity to review your car, and thanks for sharing your story with us. Okay, so hope you enjoyed our service back at the car wash just now.
The guys are really good.
So anyways, so you know which is the number to contact if you want to make another appointment again.
No worries.
See you on the next visit.